Miss Diva Universe 2020 is...
Hi guys, my name is Sakshma Srivastav and I genuinely hope that all of you who are watching the show from your homes are happy and healthy. Now, I have with me Adline Castelino on the show today. She is Miss Universe India 2020 and is all set to represent India at the Miss Universe pageant in USA in May. Now, unfortunately, Adline tested positive for the coronavirus a few weeks ago, but I don't think that has dampened her spirits even a bit because she's a very strong girl and she's very excited to leave for the pageant, and her quarantine will be over well before she has to leave. So I think that's a positive situation. So we're gonna ask her all about the preparation during this year which we've had, and we'll ask her how excited she is to represent our country at the Miss Universe pageant. So without any further ado, let's bring her on. Hi, Adline.
Hi, Sakshma. It's a pleasure and thank you for such a wonderful welcome.
Oh, it's
How
my
are you
honor
doing?
to have you. I'm doing very, very well, but we are more worried about you. How are you doing? You are in quarantine at the moment. How is it going for you?
So, the good news is that I got my negative report just today in the morning, and I'm really happy. It's been quite a journey these couple of weeks.
Right. When you competed for Miss Diva, was it your childhood dream? Are you one of those girls who always wanted a crown on her head and represent India in an international beauty pageant, or you're someone for whom this was a newfound passion?
I was always drawn to this, but I never thought that I was worthy of it because as a young girl being raised in Kuwait, I had a speech defect. I had a lisp. And I always thought that I would not be able to talk as confidently and as passionately as the women on the platform do. And I was at that time, I had a lot of marks on my skin and I was kind of skinny. And, at that time, people looked at a color, I mean, your skin color, and they had judgments about it. So at that time, I never thought I would, I would never think that in one stage I'll actually reach here. But I think it's once I left home at the age of 15 and I came to Bombay, things just happened and I met people who kind of reinstated that confidence in me. And today I'm here.
A plethora of girls compete in these pageants. Everybody wants to represent India at Miss Universe, and I, being an ex-contestant, know that the competition is very, very tough. I want to ask you, what do you think clicked for you? What do you think made you stand out and the judges decided to give you the responsibility to represent India at one of the toughest pageants in the world?
Well, I think this should be a mentality of anyone in a pageant. We need to know that not everyone's going to make it. So when I came here, I didn't come with the mentality that okay, I have to be worried about winning. I came here with a cause and a purpose. I had to highlight, the struggles of the farmers that happens in our country because I come from a farming community, and my grandmother lost her life at the age of 22. She was a farmer. She lost her life giving birth to my mother. So it was so important for me to speak, to narrate these stories and make it known to people in the nation. And that was my focus. I really never thought, even one day, anything about the crown. For me, I came here to do that and I did it. And I felt at that moment, I felt like a winner.
You have lived in Kuwait and you've lived during the time of the war. I want to ask you, living in the middle of such chaos and insecurity and dangers, does that somewhat give you a different outlook towards life?
Absolutely. And there are a lot of children out there, especially in different parts of the world that go through a war, and the impact on the childhood is it's disturbing because then they understand they're exposed at a very young age to violence and how people are torn apart. I had to leave my dad back. I had to travel with my mom to back to India. I still remember it's not a very good feeling to have as a child. It takes a lot of years to overcome it. Luckily, I was protected. My parents were protected, so there's nothing that happened. We were the lucky ones. But I feel that war has a very negative impact on children, and that's why it should stop.
Wow, it's really nice to have someone representing us who has such a well-rounded view of what life is. So that's like a win-win for us. We're very proud of you. Now I have to ask you, Adeline, that you have had one of the longest reigns that any Miss India has had. It's more than a year, which I would say is a plus when it comes to the fact that you have had the longest time to also prepare for Miss Universe. Do you think it has been a great advantage in your case? Looking at the bright side, I mean.
I think yeah, it's a great advantage in the way that it's been a learning experience and quite a different learning experience. I don't think anyone in the past or the future will be able to experience what we have as winners during this particular year. And we've been very blessed to have a roof over our head and to have meals when there was a lot going on in the country. And this actually brought a lot of humility into the journey. And also, I know we connected before this, and you've seen that I'm not very technologically savvy person. I really struggle, so it also helped me develop technological strength so that I can have a better impact on social media when talking about causes and actually standing up for issues. Yeah.
I'm in your team when it comes to technological handicap because I don't know how technology works. It's not for me. On a fun note, I have to ask you what happens is sometimes when you have a very long period to prepare for something. For example, you have to write a paper or an exam, and I give you a month to prepare for one subject. There are chances you feel that, oh, I have a lot of time. I'm gonna open my book in the last 7 days. That's what happens. It comes and brings down the fire. Do you think you experienced that at any point because you had no idea when exactly the Miss Universe pageant will take place?
Well, it's not been a straight line. No journey is a straight line. It's just a curve, up and down, up and down. But I have had an incredible team that made sure that I was never missing or never not prepared. I was always on my guard. And no matter even in between, I would go for my work and all that, I would still be preparing, still be focusing on the journey, focusing on the competition. So there hasn't been a particular day that I felt no, it's going to be a long time now. We've always been prepared, luckily because of my team.
Do you also, your team obviously decides your wardrobe and the kind of looks that there's so many looks that you have to pull off there. Do you also have a say in what gown maybe you'll compete in on the final day, or what kind of bikini or what kind of wardrobe you'll carry, or it is completely your team that takes that call?
I think for every girl that comes and represents India, I don't know about the other countries, but here it's always around the girl, because it's very important to showcase her personality, and that's what the team does brilliantly. She has to be a part of the wardrobe selection because she's the one who's going to carry the essence of it. My finale gown has been done by Falguni and Sheen Peacock. And something very special about it is that for the longest time, for 3 years, I've been having a vision of of the gown, of the color, the silhouette, and they've helped me turn it into a reality. So I'm really thankful for that.
It's so cool that they actually listen to what the contestant has to say, because in the end it's going to be her who's going to be representing. I think it really helps her be confident on stage and feel more involved in the process. That's great. Yeah. Now, I think, just talking to you for 10 minutes, I feel you have so many strengths. You're beautiful, you're confident, you have opinions, you speak well. But I have to ask you, there are always certain areas which are your strongest, where you need least improvement, and there's certain areas where you need to work a lot. And you only realize it once you start preparing. Can you tell me which were the two areas? One, which was the strongest area of yours, and which was the weakest where you had to work the most?
Oh, well, that's a very interesting question because when you're training, as you said, you get to know a lot of aspects of yourself. So I feel my strength always lies in adapting and learning. If I see something new, I can make it my own and give it my own style in no time. So for me, even the walk, even parts of the speech were really easy. That came very naturally to me. My weakness was again my tech. A lot of these classes happened online, So I was really struggling in the beginning with the technological part of it, where I was not able to grasp. I was not able to figure out, how things work. So that was something that I had to learn it. And I also, with social media, sometimes I struggle. I don't understand how things work. It's actually very weird because we belong from a generation that's supposed to know all this, and sadly I'm a little backward in that.
I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think social media, I mean, that's a whole another debate whether it's really good for you or not. So I mean, we can have another conversation for that. I don't think it makes you uncool if you're not very friendly with the technology. Now, because we touched upon the topic of strengths and weaknesses, I wanted to ask you that, when you actually Google your name or search it on YouTube, there are a plethora of videos that crop up talking about whether she's going to win or whether she's not going to win, and her strengths and weaknesses, all of that, like they know you since an eternity. I wanted to ask you, do you ever watch these videos? Because there's so much scrutiny happening. Sometimes you can maybe get actual constructive feedback that you can help improve yourself on, but there can also be a lot of negative flack that a lot of people throw. So do you watch these videos, or do you just avoid them and stay away?
So when we are preparing, we don't get the time to actually watch, and it's not right to watch these videos if it really affects you. So I have my mom, who in her spare time goes through these videos, and she very constructively gives me criticisms on things that she feels I can work on if somebody said that. So we listen to what everybody has to say, but my mother does a job of actually putting it in a very nice way to me, and in a very objective way to me, and like telling me, okay, this is the way forward. So in that process, I don't think there's any damage that's caused. And it's
Right.
normal. I think when you're in this industry, you learn to take everything in the right spirit. I mean, that's also a teaching. That's also something that you need to learn to do.
It is
And you
very
cannot always listen
important.
to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like not just this industry, any industry, there's
Yes,
gonna be scrutiny no
absolutely.
matter what you do.
And if you're going to be upset about the little things, then I mean, you can't do anything in life. Now, if you actually look at beauty pageants as an industry, there are two sides of opinions that people have regarding it. Half of the people say that, these are great pageants, they bring cultures together, and we get to see so many beautiful women and the kind of hard work they've put into, and it gives jobs and employment to these women in the long run. And on the other side, people say that, these are strictly focusing on the appearance of women, and it reduces the confidence of women who feel like they don't look like the girl who's ultimately chosen as the winner, because that becomes like a standard of beauty. I want you to sort of pick your side. I'm sure you'll pick the positive side, and comment on it a little bit as to how. I want you to give a well-rounded and better opinion on what beauty pageants really are, because we know it's so much more than just what you see on the outside.
Well, I don't blame them for the first aspect of it, because we are always, even earlier, we're only shown the finale night. We're just shown, the end product. Nobody knows what goes beyond, behind it. And luckily for our generation, we have social media. So now we know the journey of the girl. Now we know what she really wants to do, and her aspirations, and what she really stands for. And sometimes it's really nice to celebrate that. For she kind of unites the people together. And I don't think anybody should be shamed for what they want to do in life. We need a society that's accepting of everything.
True. I feel like if you're one of those contestants who truly wants to make our country proud, and make a change in the society and be an ambassador of goodwill, then that's great. But if you're also one of those girls who wants to feel good about herself because she's crowned, that is also okay. I mean, as long as you deserve it, we are fine with it. Okay. Now, I want to ask you, Adline, that the question answer round, we have to talk about it, because I don't know how you prepare for it. How can anybody prepare for something that they don't know what they're going to ask you? It can be something you might have thought about, or you might have never given it a thought, and you have to answer it in front of a live audience and the whole world's watching. How do you prepare for the question answer round? What do you do?
Let me tell you something honestly. For the national competition, I did not prepare. So
But you were
everyone
so
was
good. You spoke like, oh my God, like a queen. I loved it.
No, I didn't prepare at any level, whether it was the auditions or the main event. I didn't prepare. I don't know what I was thinking at that moment. I only thought about, as I told you, I was there just to have that awareness and, fulfill my purpose and just be there. representing myself and the causes that I stand for. So I didn't think much about anything else. And I think whatever came really from a place of authenticity and what the core, your special, like your core. So it came from my core, those answers, I think. But now I have prepared, I have this entire year to understand what my views and opinions are. But I feel at the end of the day, when you're on that stage, it has to come from your core. It just cannot come from anywhere else.
I know, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to imagine you're on the Miss Universe stage, and I want to ask you, Adline, Miss India, why do you deserve to be crowned Miss Universe?
I would tell them that I stand here not only representing myself, but the 664 million women in my country. And if I win this tonight, it will change their destiny through the policies that would change. I want to inspire strength into the youth of the world, especially during this year of the pandemic, and show them that anything is possible if they lead with their heart.
Beautiful.
So
I want to
true.
know your experience as a pageant girl. What was something that you really struggled with?
I think the fact that I was very, very young, and I realized you have to prepare. I did prepare a lot, but I also realized that you need to know how to do your makeup and hair on your own, because it's very important. And mental preparation is so important during a pageant, because every day will not be your day, because in Diva you're competing every single day, and there are tasks, and there are times you'll not perform well in your task, and that is not the end of the road. What is important is to stay spirited and take one day at a time and give you 100% the next day. I think mental strength is something you really need in a pageant and in life in general. That was my biggest learning from Diva.
Absolutely, you put it in the right sense possible, that at the end of the day, it's your mental strength.
One thing I want to ask you is the unfortunate happening that happened in your journey, the COVID-19. It happened right before you have to leave for the pageant. So tell me your reaction when you saw your report that you tested positive for the pageant, and how did it did it bring down your preparation? Because I think your workouts would have been affected, your diet would have been affected. So what happened after you tested positive exactly?
We were going through a lot of limitations before that because of I've been constantly unwell because of my schedule. We've been doing this for a year, so it was on and off with my health. And at that time, I used to tell myself, at least my health is good. Like, I've not gotten COVID. I would always tell myself, motivate myself, saying that it's okay, it's fine, but you've not got COVID. You're safe. You're safe. And the time I realized I got COVID, it was the final. I was like, okay, there's nothing worse than this. The worst has happened and will go. I mean, you're still here, you're still fighting for this. So I think at that time, honestly, I broke down. I felt, oh, this should not happen. But what I've realized is that it was divine timing, and I just had to believe in it, because it happened at a time where I could recover. I could develop antibodies and go there with a stronger body, with a stronger immunity against the virus. So I think what happened for a purpose, and I'm really thankful that there was no major symptoms. I was just in isolation, and sometimes that gets to you. I can imagine how COVID patients really suffer because they're isolated, and there is a lot of things that go behind that. It really helped me understand their journey and understand what it really means to go through this suffering. But other than that, I'm really thankful that I'm strong, and I have recovered completely, and I'm really focused to the next part of the journey now.
So well said, Adline. It was such an honor speaking to you. And first of all, thank you for taking the time out when I know you're very busy days from leaving for the pageant, and you just recovered from COVID-19. You still made time for the show, which is very, very sweet and professional of you. So I really appreciate that from you. And from my heart, I pray that you win Miss Universe. And whatever happens on that finale night, I hope that you have a great time, you make great friends, and you come back with lessons of a lifetime. All the very best. Thank you.
And you do
Until
a
we
great
talk
job.
again.
I keep watching you. You do a great job. You carry yourself so very well. And it's
You
just
watch
amazing.
my show?
Absolutely. I don't miss
Yay.
any of it. And I feel that you speak like a dream, and you really make your guests feel so comfortable, Sakshma.
Oh my god. That is so sweet. Thank you, Adline. Can you say that thing that contestants say on stage? We'll end with that. You know, they say their name, their country, and during the introduction. Can you say that? That will be how we see off our audience.
Absolutely.
Let's go. So this is Adline. She'll be before she does it at Miss Universe. She will be doing it on my show because my show rocks and I rock. So let's go.
Adline Castelino, India.
Woohoo! That's how I'll cheer for you when I watch it on YouTube. All the best, Adline.
Thank you so
I'll
much
see you
for this opportunity,
soon.
Sakshma. I hope I see you post this pandemic. It'll be a
Oh, of course
pleasure
you
meeting
will.
Of course
Yeah?
we will. We'll go. We'll eat together somewhere when COVID is gone because I know you're a foodie.
I am. I've also decided what I want to eat post the coronation.
Okay, I'll see you soon, Adline. Thank you again.
Have a
Take
wonderful
care. You too, and all the best. Bye.
Thank you.